Okay, in this section 11.3 we are going to talk about how to use normal distributions. And so in a normal distribution we have what's called areas under this normal curve. The total area is going to be 1 because if you add up all the outcomes again, it's 100%, just like we saw before. Well, what happens in a normal curve is that about 68% of your values are going to be right in this darker area that lies within 1 standard deviation of the mean on either side. So plus 1 standard deviation or minus 1 standard deviation of the mean. Okay, and then about 95% of your values, so add on these extra 13.5% going up 2 standard deviations, and you'll get about 95% of your values. And then within 3, you get about 99.7%, and then the other 0.3% is out past 3 standard deviations. Okay, so let's look at an example with this. The scores of an exam for an entrance to a firefighter program are normally distributed with a mean of 200 points and a standard deviation of 20 points. So using this curve up here, we want to answer about what percent of the candidates scored lower than 160. Well, if the mean is 200 points, that goes right here at the top. There's your mean. Okay, it's within so many standard deviations of your mean. Well, the standard deviation is 20 points. So plus 1 standard deviation would make this 220. Minus 1 standard deviation would make this 180. Minus another 20 would make this 160. Okay, so do you see here that what I'm looking for is about what percent of the candidates scored lower than 160? Well, that'd be everything from here on. So that's the 2.35% plus the 0.15%, which is 2.5%. So about 2.5% of them scored lower than the 160 points. Okay, then part B says candidates with scores above 220 are admitted into the training program. About what percent of the candidates are accepted into the program then? Okay, so above 220. Well, above 220 would be everything from here to the right. So it's a 13.5 plus we know these already add up to 2.5. We just did that on the other side. So it's 13.5% plus 2.5%, which adds up to 16%. So about 16% of them are accepted into the program. Okay, so that's all well and good if it lands exactly at plus or minus 1, or plus or minus 2, etc. But what if it doesn't? That's when the z-score comes in handy. So a z-score is simply the number of standard deviations the x-value lies above or below the mean. So if it's not exact, maybe it only lies a half or 3/4 of a standard deviation away. Okay, well, how can we find that? Well, our z-score is actually that standard deviation. So this is what we do. We take our target value, so what we're looking for, minus the mean divided by our standard deviation. Okay, so let's say in this example, my mean is 75, my standard deviation is 10, and I want to know what the probability that it's greater than or equal to 70. The score is greater than or equal to 70. Okay, so let's label this. This would be 75. Now, if my standard deviation is 10, then this is 85 going down 10. This would be 65. This would be 55. This would be 95, and so on. So I'm just adding 1 standard deviation and then another, and so on. Well, 70 lies somewhere between these, right? Okay, here's 70 right here. So this would be, what we're trying to find when we do this is what this z-score down here is. Okay, now you might have figured out already what this is by looking at this, but let's put it into the formula. So my target score is 70, my mean is 75, my standard deviation is 10. So my z-score is -5/10, right, which is -1/2, which if you put it as a decimal is -0.5, right? Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's halfway here. It's halfway. This is -0.5 because it's halfway between 0 and 1, between 0 and -1. Okay? So that's my z-score. Well, what does that do for me? Well, you have a table in your book that you're going to look at and you're going to be able to use, and it is on page 759. So you might want to get your book out and open up to page 759. I'll give you a chance to do that. Now, on page 759, the standard normal table that's at the top of that page, you see on the left a z. That's where you start. Now, because my answer here is negative 0 point something, I go to the negative 0. That's what comes before your decimal. And then I go over to 0.5. So do you see that that's 0.3085? Okay. This table is giving you the probability that it is greater than or equal to 70. Okay, so the probability that it's greater than or equal to 70 okay, I said that wrong. The table shows you the probability that it's less than or equal to 70. Okay, so if you look on the table and you look up negative 0.5, you should see that it's 0.3085. Well, then to find the probability that it's greater than or equal to, well, remember, it's 100% here, right? It's 1, so it's 1 minus the 0.3085. Okay, that would be your probability that it would be greater than or equal to 70, which makes sense because it should be the 50% you have here plus another, whatever, about 17. But so this equals, let's get our calculator out here, 1 minus 0.3085, oops, 0.6915, which again should make sense to you because if you think about this being about halfway and this 50%, well, 50% and another 17%, around 67, but that's not exact with the probabilities. So 0.6915 would be the probability that's greater than or equal to 70. Okay, so this survey, 20 college students, or 20 colleges, found that the average credit card debt for the seniors was $3,450. The debt was normally distributed with a standard deviation of 1175. Find the probability that the credit card debt of the seniors was at most $3,600. So that means less than or equal to 3,600. That's what we're trying to find. Okay, so here's my formula. I'm going to find my z-score. Well, what's my target value? 3,600. Okay, what's my mean? Well, it said the average credit card debt was $3,450, so that's the mean. The standard deviation was 1175, so that's my sigma. So z equals my target value minus my mean divided by my standard deviation. Okay, so we're going to put that into our calculator, and we get 3,600 minus 3,450 divided by 1175. I think I might have hit something wrong there. 0.1276. So 128. But that we have to round to the nearest tenth to use our table. So that's approximately 0.1. That's what we're going to use on our table. So look up 0.1 on your table. 0.1 is 0.5398. So 0.5398 is the probability that it is less than or equal to 3,600. Okay. So again, this is why that worked up on the scores. Whatever you have to the right or left of a target score, the other part of it has to be 1 minus that. So this is your probability that it's less than or equal to A. Well, then 1 minus that would have to be the probability that it's greater than or equal to A. Okay? So if I know this is the probability that it's less than or equal to 3,600, what's the probability that their debt is greater than or equal to 3,600? Well, it'd just simply be 1 minus 0.5398. Okay? Which would be 0.46 about, but 4,502. All right? Okay, So that makes sense. It's either this part or that part. But what about having a range of values? So what if I want to know what's the probability that it's between this value A and this value B? So it's just this region right here. Well, if you think about it, that's the whole region less than B minus the whole region less than A, and what do you have left? This region in between. So that's why when you say between A and B, then you can simply say B, the probability that it's less than or equal to B, minus the probability that it's less than or equal to A. Okay, and that gives you that range. So let's think about that here. We could find the probability that it's less than or equal to the mean. That's from here over. Okay, and what is x minus 2 sigma? Well, that's 2 standard deviations away. So right here is the mean minus 2 standard deviations. So we can look at this and know we can just add these two up, but it's between those. But if I took 50% minus the 2.5%, I would also get the same thing. Okay, add these together, what do you get? Well, 34 and 13.5 is going to be 47.5, right? 13.5% plus the 34% would be 47.5%. And if I took 50% minus 2.5%, I'm going to get the same answer. Okay, so hopefully that convinces you that that works to do in between. So let's look at this. X minus theta, or not theta, sigma, so that's 1 standard deviation. That's right here. The mean minus 1 standard deviation is right here. The mean plus 3 standard deviations is right here. So, again, you could just go in between these, or you could take this one minus that one. But in this case, when you know what they are, you have the 68% plus the 13.5% plus the 2.35%. Okay, that would work. Or we could take all of this that's less than the plus 3, which would be all but 0.15, right? So that's 99.85% minus then the rest of it that's down here would be 13.5 plus the 2.5. Again, those two together are 2.5. So that's 16%. So if you do the math on those, you're going to end up with the same thing. Okay. All right, here's your assignment. 4 through 26 evens and 32 and 34.